Okay, let's unpack one of the great, I think really underappreciated, success stories of the global food industry. Haldiram's. We are tracking a legend here, a story that starts back in 1919 with a 12-year-old boy. He's on the streets of Bikaner, India, and he's selling savory snacks bhujia for just 2 paisa a packet.
And that 2 paisa beginning became the foundation of a snacking empire. Today, it's valued at over 9,000 crore. It reaches people not just in India, but in more than 80 countries worldwide.
It's a spectacular journey.
And one that required, constant reinvention.
Absolutely. So our mission in this deep dive is to really analyze the sources and drill down on those specific moments, the moments of brilliance, the gut-wrenching crises, and the strategic pivots that really mattered.
You're talking about everything from family disaster to packaging revolutions.
Exactly. The things that turned a tiny snack shop into this, well, this international brand.
For anyone looking for a blueprint for market growth, this is it. This story is a masterclass, not just in food, but in, positioning a product, innovating processes, and adapting a regional taste for wildly different markets. You'll see patterns here that apply everywhere.
So let's start at the very beginning, the timeline. Haldiram was born in 1908 into poverty in Bikaner. By age 12, he's already working in his grandfather's bhujia shop. But he wasn't happy just, maintaining things.
No, he was not. And what's fascinating here is how he immediately set up a template for innovation that his family would follow for decades. He looked at this centuries-old product and asked three simple but devastatingly effective questions.
Okay, what were they?
How can I improve the flavor? How can I improve the texture? And how can I improve the perception?
Right, let's tackle flavor first. It sounds simple, but I get the sense it was fundamental.
Oh, it was pure market observation. The traditional bhujia, it was made just from gram flour. But Haldiram noticed that people in Rajasthan, they absolutely loved a different pulse moth dal. They used it all the time.
So he's not inventing new ingredient. He's just leveraging a local favorite.
Exactly. He took the risk of mixing moth dal flour into the gram flour recipe, and the flavor immediately got deeper, richer, and just more aligned with what people there already loved.
That's brilliant. Okay, so the second innovation, texture. This sounds more like a technical challenge.
It was a huge technical leap for the time. He found the traditional bhujia to be, thick and soft.
Yeah.
He wanted that irresistible thin, crispy texture we all know now.
Right. So how do you even do that?
Well, he had to solve two problems at once. First, a much thinner batter. And second, and this was the hard part, he needed a custom mesh press with smaller holes.
You couldn't just buy one of those.
No way. The sources say he spent months working with local metal workers, iterating on the design until they got it just right. We're talking about early 20th century custom fabrication, really.
And that became the Haldiram difference.
Absolutely. That thin, crispy texture was the competitive advantage.
Okay, and the third point. This is where the marketing genius kicks in. He's got a better product, but how does he signal that to customers?
Positioning. He needed to stand out from all the other vendors selling generic bhujia. So he strategically named his premium version Dungar Sev.
Dungar Sev. Why that name?
It was named directly after the highly respected local monarch, Maharaja Dungar Singh of Bikaner.
So you're associating your snack with royalty. That's a bold move. Couldn't that have backfired?
It's a risk, but the payoff was immediate premiumization. It gave the product instant cachet. People weren't just buying street food anymore. They were buying a royal branded specialty. And this allowed him to raise his prices, and people happily paid.
So by 1944, he's built this thriving business. He has his family, his wife Champadevi, and 3 sons. He has stability. And then everything just falls apart.
It's a moment of profound devastation. Despite building the business with his brothers, the family relations just deteriorated. He was forced out of the house, out of the business, with nothing, penniless overnight.
After all that work, to lose everything, the name, the recipe, all of it, that must have been paralyzing.
It's shocking, but what defines him here is his response. The sources say he had no time to be emotional. His focus wasn't on the injustice, it was on his wife and 3 sons. He had to pivot immediately.
But with no capital.
Exactly. And this is where the lifeline appears. It's an almost cinematic moment.
What happened?
He was scrambling for work and ran into a childhood friend. Years earlier, Haldiram had loaned this friend 200 rupees, a huge sum back then. The friend, seeing his situation, immediately repaid half of it, 100 rupees.
Wow. And that 100 rupees.
That became the seed capital for the entire second phase of his life.
So what did he do with it? I mean, 100 rupees isn't much to restart a bhujia empire.
Yeah, it isn't. So he was strategic. First, security. He rented a small home for his family. Second, he launched what you'd call a minimum viable product, and it was not bhujia.
Oh, okay. What was it?
He leveraged another Bikaner staple that his wife, Champadevi, made exceptionally well, moong dal.
Ah, so the moong dal was the quick cash MVP. Get the income stream stable.
Precisely. It was cheap to produce, easy to sell to local workers, and it stabilized his cash flow. Only after that did he bring his passion, the moth dal bhujia, back into the mix.
And imagine word got around pretty quickly.
Instantly. Everyone knew the original bhujia king was back. He quickly earned enough to rent a small shop and completely regained his status. It's an incredible pivot.
That local success then sets the stage for the 1950s and this realization that Bikaner was just too small.
Right. And the sources point to a wedding in Kolkata as the catalyst for expansion.
A wedding?
Yes, a classic geographic arbitrage moment. He brought his bhujia to a friend's daughter's wedding. The Bengali guests went wild for it. They'd never tasted anything like it and immediately placed bulk orders. He saw the market vacuum right there.
So in 1955, the brand goes external. He sends his son Rameshwar and his grandson Shivkishan to Kolkata. They start small, just an 8-square-foot shop. But they had to learn the cardinal rule of expansion fast, adaptation.
Yes. They realized just replicating the Bikaner menu wasn't enough. They had to innovate again. They launched a new salty snack tailored to local Bengali tastes. The Bengali mixture.
That's critical.
Yeah.
It shows they're not just a migrant shop, they're becoming a local brand.
It was, and sales skyrocketed to 150 to 200 kilos of bhujia a day.
Which brings us to 1968 and the next target, Nagpur, this time led by Shivkishan. What was the gap he spotted there?
It was about sweets, not just savory snacks. Nagpurians loved their local sweets, but they hadn't really been exposed to sweets from other parts of India. So Shivkishan brought his favorite North Indian sweet, Kaju Katli, along with the bhujia.
But Kaju Katli is expensive. People don't know it. They're not going to buy it, right? How did he overcome that friction?
With the famous customer delight strategy, free samples.
The classic move.
He just offered free samples of the Kaju Katli. Once people tasted the quality, the demand was instantaneous, massive. And that one success opened the door to sweets. They brought in rasgulla, rasmalai. Suddenly, Haldiram's wasn't just a snack company anymore.
It was becoming a diversified sweet manufacturer.
Exactly. And that leads to the next big shift in '71, from a shop to a restaurant. He was inspired by a perpetually crowded local place that only sold two things, dosa and lassi.
So he saw the power of high foot traffic. But he couldn't just open a Bikaner restaurant and expect crowds.
Right. He had to bring the customers in first.
And the Trojan horse strategy was born.
That's it. Knowing that Maharashtrians preferred South Indian food, he started his restaurant menu with popular items like dosa and idli. That got people in the door.
But wait, wouldn't that confuse the brand? Or just be an operational nightmare?
It's a risk, but the reward was customer conversion. Once customers were seated, enjoying the dosa they came for, the staff would encourage them to try the Bikaner specials, the samosa, the kachori.
So you use the popular item to get the foot traffic, then you convert them to your core, higher margin product. That's brilliant.
A brilliant way to integrate local taste with your core product promotion.
That growth in Kolkata and Nagpur then sets the stage for the big one, conquering Delhi to become a truly national brand. Shivkishan sends his younger brother, Manohar Lal, to launch there in 1982.
And Delhi was the ultimate proving ground. Chandni Chowk was already saturated with famous, centuries-old vendors. It was a battle just to survive.
And just as they were getting started, history delivers another devastating blow. It almost echoes what happened to Haldiram himself in 1944.
The 1984 anti-Sikh riots, an immense tragedy that also decimated the business. Manohar Lal's workshop and his home were burned down. For 2 months, business was just zero.
And again, you see that resilience, that Haldiram DNA.
Absolutely. Just like the patriarch, he took financial help from the stable Nagpur and Bikaner operations, got a tiny 300-square-foot workshop, and just started rebuilding. Within a few years, he'd stabilized enough to expand to a 2,000-square-foot factory.
They survived the crisis, but they were still essentially a regional business. The final explosive growth came from something else entirely.
It came from recognizing a massive macroeconomic trend and leveraging industrial technology. This is the real inflection point. Post-liberalization, you had foreign brands like PepsiCo and Kellogg's flooding the market with packaged, long shelf life Western snacks.
But there was a huge cultural gap.
A massive gap. Nobody was applying that same long shelf life technology to beloved traditional Indian snacks.
Haldiram saw it. The entire country wanted a way to enjoy Bikaner bhujia that didn't spoil in 3 days.
And they made the investment. They adopted nitrogen packaging. I mean, for a traditional food company, that's a massive industrial shift. Using nitrogen, they took the shelf life of bhujia from a few days to several months.
And that technical leap just erased the geographic limits of their business overnight.
That's it. The nitrogen packaging wasn't just a preservation tool, it was the key that unlocked national and global scale.
So with that extended shelf life,
They diversified rapidly. Over 400 packaged items, rasgulla, pickles, belpuri, you name it. And their distribution strategy was just as smart. They used color psychology in the packaging for impulse buyers, offered different price points from 5 rupees up to large bags, and built a massive network of distributors to reach every corner of the country.
it's an unbelievable scale.
Hmm.
From a 12-year-old selling 2 pies bhujia to a multi-thousand-crore global powerhouse. You see them everywhere. From the U.S. to Singapore, over 80 countries.
The whole story, it consistently proves that long-term success stands on 3 pillars. First, constantly innovating the product modal, the custom mesh, you name it. Second, relentlessly delighting the customer, the free samples, the Bengali mixture. And third, being willing to fundamentally change your business model with the times, from a street stall to a restaurant to a packaged goods giant.
And the common thread through all of it was that willingness to invest in a technical or operational leap to get an edge. We see how one specific technology, nitrogen packaging, completely transformed a regional perishable business into a global force.
Making that Bikaner bhujia accessible to everyone, everywhere.
So we'll leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. Haldiram's ultimate success came from identifying a national cultural need. The desire for long shelf-life packaged regional snacks was today's equivalent of the Bikaner bhujia. What beloved regional product is currently constrained by distance or perishability? And what simple technological leap, whether it's AI or a new material or specialized logistics, is required to turn it into the next global success? What new gap is waiting for you to spot?